Hey, my name is Elizabeth Larder, and I'm the Communications Director for the Washington Ballot Initiative to Label Genetically Engineered Foods, Initiative 522. And we're all about providing everyday Washingtonians and maybe some Oregonians more information about our food and how it was produced and where it's coming from. And we believe that every grocery shopper has a right to know what's in their groceries. It started out as an initiative to the legislature. Over 353,000 Washingtonians signed to get this on the ballot. It's the second highest number of signatures gathered in state history for an initiative to the legislature. And we've been working since about April when the legislature decided to not take action, and really have been traveling all around Washington talking about this, why people should know about genetically engineered foods, why we need to label them. And clearly our message is really resonating. We have strong support in the polls. The latest polls still have us up despite being outspent 3-1 by mega corporations, actually 5 pesticide companies and 1 DC-based lobbying PAC that was actually sued by the Washington State Attorney General last week for illegally concealing its donors to the No on 522 campaign.
I see. So was it your organization that worked on getting this ballot passed, the initiative passed?
It's a coalition of farmers and fishers and moms and dads and retailers, small businesses, big businesses, people just coming together because they fundamentally want to know more about what's in their food. And that's what I-522 provides. It provides you with more information so that you can make the best decision for yourself and your family at the grocery store. Is that there are lots of ads on TV because the no side is outspending us 3-1. But don't believe and don't fall for their false claims. And actually, yesterday the Seattle Times fact-checked some of their ads as false, and even some of them half true. I-522 would actually label genetically engineered meat and dairy. So unfortunately, right now there are no, genetically engineered cows on the market. But if there were, genetically, an engineered cow or milk from that cow would be labeled under I-522. So don't fall for their claims. And on pet food, the No campaign is claiming that I-522 would label pet food. That is simply not true, and that was fact-checked as false yesterday by the Seattle Times. In addition to the sponsors of Initiative 522 have said that that is false. Let's see, and the other claim that you're probably hearing often is that this is going to raise grocery prices. That is fundamentally false. In the 64 countries that already label GMOs, there were no cost increases. Why should that be different for Washington State? The claims that are being made that this is going to increase your grocery costs were actually studies that were bought and paid for by these 5 pesticide companies and 1 DC-based lobbying PAC that got sued by the state attorney general for illegally concealing its donors. So who do you trust? The people who are standing behind this initiative, or these corporations who are trying to keeping you from knowing what's in your food?
I didn't necessarily believe it, but one of the claims that was made on those many advertisements that they got paid for by the lobby group that you're talking about was that since there's no other areas, states or whatever that will have genetically engineered labels, and all this will have to be done just for Washington. So how does that play out?
So that's just not true. Actually, Alaska passed the first labeling of genetically engineered seafood bill in the country in 2005. It was a unanimous bill. The governor signed it. That's on the books. I-522 would also label the genetically engineered salmon or any other genetically engineered seafood. Connecticut and Maine have passed bills. There is a trigger, so more states in New England do need to pass them, but it is very likely that if I-522 passes, that more states will be passing labeling legislation. But yes, it's simply not true that businesses and food manufacturers are going to have to make special foods just for Washington. Don't believe their claims. They're funded by 5 pesticide companies and 1 illegally funded Grocery Manufacturers Association PAC out of Washington, D.C. It's just like the bottle deposits here in Oregon, right? In Washington State, we don't have that, but sometimes my, bottle says you can get 5 cents in Oregon, and that's the same thing. It didn't raise the cost of my Coke, but it allows me, if I want to take that bottle to Oregon, to go recycle it. Different states have different labels all the time on products, and it doesn't increase the cost, so don't believe the hype.
I was kind of surprised about some of the people that were on board saying no. I mean, it was organic farmers and all kinds of associations.
Yeah, so that was one organic farmer, but I will say, yeah, I mean, we have hundreds of farmers that are supporting the Yes on 522 campaign, in addition to hundreds of businesses and fishers. A lot of fishers are really concerned with the genetically engineered salmon that the FDA is likely to approve. 522 would label it. Without 522, how are you going to know that your salmon's genetically engineered or not? You won't. So we have a large coalition, and you can go to our website. It's yeson522.com/endorsements.
Are there a lot of ways to support you guys?
Yes, you can go to our website. You can, look at the volunteer page. You could look to see maybe who's donated. You could look to see our endorsements. You could look to see, which newspapers have endorsed us. You could see all of our ads and share our ads on Facebook or share our Facebook posts. You can go to our Facebook page at Yes on 522. Check us out online, yeson522.com. Oh, yeah. So the last claim, I don't know if you guys are hearing this in Portland very much, but I know other parts of Washington are, and Southwest Washington are, that I-522 would hurt farmers. It's just simply not true. In fact, a publication out of Seattle called Crosscut fact-checked that it's false. This would not hurt farmers. Really, this puts the burden on companies like Dow and Monsanto and DuPont and Bayer AgroSciences to label the seeds that they are making, and that is not going to hurt farmers. Farmers are going to have a choice of what seeds they want to buy, and farmers, are smart people. They usually grow what the consumers are going to buy, so this is not going to hurt farmers. Yeah, so our newest ad, we are very happy to announce that we got the endorsement of Consumers Union, the policy arm of Consumers Report. Dr. Michael Hansen is featured prominently in our ad, and we're very proud to have their support because they know that this won't cost you a dime and this won't be burdensome to businesses or farmers, and this is really about providing more information to everyday grocery shoppers. Well, I think that the previous campaigns to label GMOs have really elevated the national dialogue about this issue. I think a lot of people don't even realize they're eating genetically engineered foods because we just don't know what's in our food, or where there might be genetically engineered ingredients in the food you're eating. So Oregon and California really raised national dialogue. I think the announcement of Whole Foods that they're going to be labeling genetically engineered foods along with other chains and companies like Ben & Jerry's is going to be labeling, and they're going GMO free. I think people are more aware of what's happening and what's in their food, and that's in part thanks to the Oregon campaign from 10 years ago and the California Proposition 37.
So I imagine Monsanto's a big player in this. What are some of the other big players?
They're the second highest donor to the No on 522 campaign. In fact, the Grocery Manufacturers Association has donated the most at $7.2 million. Monsanto's second at $4.2. DuPont, Dow Chemical, Bayer AgroSciences. I'm forgetting one. But those are the main companies. It's just 5 pesticide and chemical companies, and one DC-based PAC that broke the law.
Why are pesticide companies involved in this? They don't have genetically engineered laboratories, do they?
Well, you know that they make the genetically engineered seeds that farmers are buying. So they are clear, and they sell more pesticides. As the Wall Street Journal reported earlier this year, that pesticides are making a comeback with certain genetically engineered crops. And so they sell more pesticides, or they have been selling more pesticides with certain crops over time.
Most of the people going to listen to this are going to be in Oregon.
Yeah.
What can Oregonians do?
Oregonians can do the best thing ever. They can help, call other Washington voters and tell them why you support labeling. You can volunteer at sign up to volunteer at yeson522.com. We need your help. It's about 12 days left, and we need to, really get out the vote.